You're so annoying. You don't run the full game. I don't care, bro. Like, I literally don't care. I've humored you years ago, but I am different now. And you are certainly not built different because you can't run anything longer than a minute without losing your attention.
Why don't you inject some bitches with your dick?
In my dick? That's kind of like...
No, with your dick.
With? Inject?
Yeah.
How do I? So I inject...
You gotta infect them with,
semen,
pregnancy.
Bro. Yeah. Pregnancy is definitely an infection.
Oh, so
There's
like
parasite.
my dick is the needle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Right.
He's saying you
There's
have a needle
layers.
dick.
There's layers to this.
Okay. How many layers?
Depends. I don't know. How many layers were you using when you were infected?
Let me see.
Okay, I just torched it.
Well,
Bro was looking at his dick like he was sorting through a filing cabinet. He was like, how many layers?
that's crazy.
What the fuck?
Just sorting through the
is
notches
this?
on his belt, and he's like, "Oh, there's nothing here."
There is
The
nothing there. Welcome
uncircumcised
back to the
life.
podcast, everyone. My name is Nestani.
I am Jaxler.
I'm DECosmic.
Hola, me llamo Coli, no hablo español excepto esta fresa y la última.
And I don't know why this guy's wearing a hat. Like, can we just talk about this hat for a second? This is a tough look, man. I'm just gonna say
dude,
I don't
he's hiding
like
his
you in a hat.
eyebrows.
I hate to
You don't
just
like me in a
go
hat?
in. Like,
I just
right here.
realized it's like cutting off half your eyebrows.
It is, and I prefer your luscious head of hair.
There you go.
What luscious
It's a
head of
cool
hair,
hat.
bro.
Your hair looks
mean-
good. It doesn't look bad.
I gotta say, here's the thing, man, is that like I
Here's
think
the-
you're just not used to seeing. I think you're just not used to seeing like 4 inches of forehead like anymore.
No, I am.
Like, you know.
Yeah, your
well, it's
room's
like
a lot
you're not
darker.
used to not seeing that anymore. It covers up like the rest of the forehead, dude.
Yeah, it feels weird.
So it
doesn't-
changes the
You
framing of
look
my
like
face.
6 years older than you are with the hat.
Oh, interesting.
Do you have the Cookie Monster one?
Like, you look like a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I tell
don't
enough
think he looks
jokes
like a
for
dad.
it, so you know.
Yeah, you're definitely giving dad core.
Yeah.
Wait, you know what would look
Dadcore?
cooler is if you wore it
Sick.
backwards.
Don't.
No.
Don't.
You're making
I'm
it
good on
worse.
that.
No. Don't
I
listen to him.
have a Taco Bell hat over there too. I have a hat that just says Taco Bell on the front.
Okay, that's
the
That's
old,
awesome.
The old vintage.
Am I
All
the
right,
only
hold
one
on,
that
I'll go
says
grab
why to
it.
that? Really?
Hold on.
I'm the guy that says
Dude,
why
that
to the
sounds
Taco Bell
fire.
hat.
I'd wear that hat like every
No,
day.
I want to know why he has this too, but it's also like kind of fire. Like,
Oh boy, did he work at Taco Bell or like? Wait, no, he didn't work at Taco Bell. He worked at Walgreens.
No, I didn't work at Taco Bell, dude.
Oh, and it's the old logo.
it's the old Taco Bell. Yeah, it's the old logo.
Oh, man.
Oh shit.
It's not like the purple bell, dude. It's
I
like
kind of fuck with this hat a little bit more. I'm gonna be so.
Yeah, this hat is
fuck with
better.
this hat
Van
more?
Gogh.
The other one,
Is
I
it
think
'cause
it's
it's just
just
not
because it's a
anime,
baseball cap,
or-
right? The baseball cap just doesn't work.
Oh no, this is the trucker hat. The trucker hat. look
Yeah,
is-
that's
is
like a
fine.
normal hat.
the mesh
Normal
one.
hat, like
Okay.
you look fine.
Yep.
That whatever that
Okay.
is, that's not a good shape for you.
So what? Do I have to bend it? Like, what's going on here?
I mean, I think it's just
don't do that
because
to the hat.
I think you just gotta put it on the shelf.
That's,
Don't
yeah, it's-
bend it.
this is
That-
it's like a full.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
good for you. But like regular hat, you look fine. Like now, you look completely like you look 6 years younger again. You look like you now. This is good.
Oh, okay.
I also just love how we're just shitting
It's
on
just the hat
Cosmic
shape.
when he like comes into call today and he's like, "Oh, I had a really today work was not the fucking vibe." You know, he comes in wearing
Yeah.
this goofy ass hat and we're just tearing him
fine,
I
down.
didn't say
'Cause,
limb
like-
goofy ass hat. I just said that it didn't
no.
work for him. That's
So
all
I wasn't
said.
wearing that hat.
The hat's
I wasn't
cool.
wearing that hat prior to sitting down. I was like, I wonder how they're going to react. So I just decided to put it on and just tank
Yeah.
what come what may. You know,
It would
like
be, it's you know it was just kind of like weird. It was just kind of criminal. It's almost like if I showed up with a hat on, it would just be criminal. You know what I mean? It would just be like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You know.
would it be criminal? I don't know.
Well,
might,
I guess
but-
mine is more criminal since I have a block of lusciousness on my head, similar to like a block of cheese.
Cheese is luscious. I
Or
would
Steve
describe
or
cheese that way.
Roblox
Yeah.
or-
Move to Wisconsin, bro.
No, I'm all right.
No,
Don't want to go
we're
there.
Good. We don't
Yeah.
need to go there.
Why?
Yeah.
What's wrong with Wisconsin?
What isn't wrong with Wisconsin? Go ahead.
Madison's
It's
fine.
not like it's crime ridden. Like it's just a bunch of
Look,
cows.
man,
I thought.
the name con.
It's a lot of white
Exactly.
people.
There's nothing there.
It's the word
better than,
con
like-
is right in the middle of Wisconsin. There's only cons to moving to Wisconsin.
I'll get
There's
you that
no
one.
pros.
Unless you
in
live
it.
like,
That was all right.
unless you,
5 out of
I
10.
don't know, you
was
live in
okay.
like
Yeah.
Mississippi
We
or
work with it.
something, then
We
maybe
work
it's an
with it.
upgrade. But like,
Man, I miss
Yeah.
Mississippi.
I don't.
That one was 2
Yeah.
out of 10. I got you, Cosmic. Now you look funnier.
What? What is happening?
You all right, dude?
I'm lost.
What,
I
what
got
fucked
lost.
you
I
up
need a
at
map.
work to make you like just this locked out? Like, what happened?
Who, me?
Cosmic.
Oh,
Cosmic looks
Cosmic?
locked the fuck out.
Oh
Cosmic's
no,
fine.
some annoying ass motherfuckers back in my DMs on SRC. Because I don't hear from this motherfucker for 4 years, okay? And this was a guy, this is these people that come into your DMs when you're a mod and they like bitch and moan about all this shit. And he's like trying to say that like there's such a thing as faster frames in a game. I'm not going to talk about what game it is or who this person is, okay?
Yo,
because I respect
tell
their
their
privacy.
name, their fucking social security number,
IP address.
Yeah.
digits on
Their
the back
name-
of their credit
their-
Dox
card.
them.
Their name is I bitch about not having records in categories that are 20 seconds long. That's their name. So
It's always
like,
the 20-second category.
because so here's the thing is, and they wanted a PC and console split in some of these categories 4 years ago, and I was like, you know what, fair enough. Technically, like 120 FPS, 60 FPS, we don't know the ramifications of it on this game 4 years ago. So fuck it. Like I talked to some people, I was like, is there probably a difference? They were like, no, but it can't hurt to split the boards. So I split the boards. Told him why I made the decision. Doesn't respond to my DM for 4 years and then comes back into my DMs and says there are videos not existing anymore for runners of this game in this category, for instance. Oh, wouldn't you know it? It would be the category where if I deleted this runner's time, he would have record again in this like 20-second category.
Yikes!
And then I said, oh, strange. So all I said in response was strange. I wonder why they deleted their channel. And so... of course this is a bait. Of course this is a bait 40 minutes ago. So he says, I'm only now checking in on my old runs and saw that. Doesn't it get revoked or something since there's no records to show proof of it now? And I'm going to tell him, no, it does not. Since there was video proof at that time. This is pretty common practice on speedrun leaderboards. Sorry about your luck. And I also want to tell him if he somehow ends up here, you're the one of the most annoying people I've ever met on this site. And I hope you never submit to a board that I'm on ever again. Stay out of my DMs, motherfucker. You're so annoying.
my God.
You don't run the full game. I don't care, bro. Like, I literally don't care. I've humored you years ago, but I am different now. All right? And you are certainly not built different because you can't run anything longer than a minute without losing your attention. But you have plenty of attention to come in my DMs and annoy me for days on end. But then not thank me for splitting the boards for console and PC. Even though you were like, oh, there's faster frames. A frame is a frame, motherfucker. What weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of fat? Fuck off.
Dude, this is why iPad babies should never be allowed access to live split, dude. This is what happens. This is.
Oh my!
This guy doesn't
Every
even use
fucking
live split
time.
because he just uses the game's in-game timer. He's too stupid to run live split. He probably would be able to run a full game category if he could. But it would probably just be like the default layout, like right in the corner, right over the game or something like that. And then I'd have to reject the run, like, hey, dude, you covered part of the UI. But he would probably have like the default size live split window with the default layout with the one split that just says like, it's like a blank thing or whatever, like a blank split name. He just hits start and then the gold split is like 0.00. So it's like just counting upwards on a red timer the whole time.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes. So, and he doesn't know how to delete it. So it just does that the whole time. Anyway, I'm going to respond to this idiot now. So y'all can talk about whatever you need to do.
Holy moly!
Yo!
Oh my god! That is possibly the most toxic thing anybody's like said on, or not toxic. What would be the right word for this situation? I don't even know.
Correct.
I mean, I'm just
Good.
That's like
ray of
I've never
sunshine.
seen you crash
Yummy.
out that hard, Cosmic. Like that's the thing.
That was art in motion. I was
It
there
was
for
like
that.
It was like watching a like controlled bridge collapse. Like that's what it was like. It was.
That's fair.
You know when
I
like
can
you
see
get
that.
a like demolition crew and they have like the techniques that they fucking use. So it was like, but also okay. This metaphor fucking sucks. Anyway.
It's all right.
So
Hey, someone probably gets the metaphor. It just ain't me, unfortunately. It's
thou art stupid. So, Cosmic, something I wanted to ask, is this person, do you, like, know if this is, like, a grown-ass adult, or is this a child? I assume it's a child.
It possibly is an adult, honestly.
Because if that's a grown-ass adult, that is...
They live in the United States, and, like, the definition between, like, adult and child is, like, blurring by the day, so...
Yeah,
you know,
you can be, like, 25
in terms of actual maturity, so, you know.
I mean, if you send me their name, I can find everything about them if you want.
Oh wait, I was wrong. They ran one category that was over a minute long. I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
God. Oh my god.
Well, it was an hour and 19 minutes. Man, they really must have had some juices pumping on them.
19 minutes.
They hit a couple
They're
of
the type to
lines.
see like an hour-long run
Yeah.
and be like, can we have like a 5-minute break and like not have it counted? You know, like when you have like long-form runs, like the 8-12 hours.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, you're allowed
Yep.
to take 5-minute, like 1 or 2
Yeah.
5-minute breaks. It's like, dude, I can't keep doing this for an hour. I have got to go piss. Like... It's just like,
Oh yeah, this was the run that I almost rejected because of him actually sitting there too long, I think. Or maybe I've just like verified it because it was on PS4 and the loads on that tend to be longer. So there was a bigger discrepancy between IGT and RTA. And I was
Right.
like, you know what? I'm just going to give the guy a little bit of grace and just verify it because he played the game. I was just impressed that he sat there for that long, so I just verified it, you know? I was like,
Oh my
spit your shit, King. Like,
You know,
his time is like, here's the thing too, right? Is that like the other part of it is, hold on, let me see if I can find this correctly
I just want
here.
to say real quick. I just want to say real quick that I think it's funny because like I've totally had this in my life where there's like moments where I'm like, you know what? I can be an empathetic person. We can all get along. And no matter what happens, like I can understand other people. But then there's just some people that come along in your life that just happens to push the wrong buttons. And it's just like, man, this guy's annoying as fuck. Like, I don't even care anymore, dude. It's like this.
It's true.
It just reminds me of that.
I mean, and much like his time, this guy does suck. So like, I just went ahead and verified it, you know? So like, it is what it is.
it's just like, yeah, good job, sport. You know, it's like that kind of thing.
It was definitely a pat on the back, like, oh, you did it, you know, type thing.
bud.
So
Good job,
I was like,
pal.
whatever. So I just responded back to him, and I was like, no, it does not get revoked since the run was verified at that time with proof. It is common practice on speedrun leaderboards to keep times up even when a video expires. Some leaderboards even have a time listed with no video for documentation purposes.
wow.
You sound so
Mango
composed.
typers.
Very busy.
Mango typers. Yeah. This is how I write emails at work, except for when I accidentally type. Except for when I accidentally type "hood morning" instead of "good morning" in the email. So, it's just
Hood
like
morning is crazy.
"hood morning," dude. Like,
Okay, now you work worse. Don't do the hood thing. There you
that's
go.
true.
You
No, I'm
fixed
not
it.
doing that. That was last episode. So, yeah. So, that being said, that guy's annoying. So,
Yeah.
There's a lot of
bottom up
annoying
emotions there.
people in speedrunning, but that could be. I don't want to get into
yeah.
more of it. 'cause-
Oh yeah, there was another person. There was another person, like a week ago, okay, that was in my DMs. That was like, hey, I did a video. Oh, I did a run of X game. I would like if you could verify it. And I went, yeah, I saw it. And then I linked him the speedrun.com TOS, which says moderators generally given 21 days to process run submissions. Now you might ask yourself, was this person justified in hitting me up? Because there are people that, you know, have had to hit up moderators in the past before where it takes like a month or something. And that is frustrating. Okay.
I
What's up,
have an
Nestani?
addendum.
You
If
have a
this is
question?
if this is a no-name game, he's justified in asking you after a week because, like, who the fuck's running the game? Now, if it's a more popular game, no. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, okay, is that you can see on my profile that I log in like every day. I guarantee you he looked at my profile and saw last online today, or if I'm really bored at work, last online an hour ago. All right. So
true.
Dude, verifying runs during class was like the classic for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Just
I
sitting
wish
there in the
I
computer
had that
lab, just
luxury.
like checking time codes.
That'd be great, honestly. I wish I could go back to college just for that.
I mean, you could go back to college.
But I could.
You just have to
It's true.
spend like a lot of money.
A lot of money. A
Yeah.
lot of money. But was this? So
Like
you might
almost
ask
like around
yourself,
$7,000.
was this
A
person
semester.
experience? You talking about from experience? Yeah.
No,
Maybe.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No way. But you might ask yourself, was this person justified in doing this? And how long had it been since he put his runs in? And I'm here to tell you, viewers and audio listeners, that it was the previous day. He had given it nary 24 hours before he was in my DMs asking me. And I said,
Not a good
just
look.
so you're aware, I said, just so you're aware. And I linked him the part about moderators being given 21 days. I said, and it's typically bad etiquette to message a moderator requesting expedited verification of a run. Oh, sorry, my bad. Just wanted to make sure it would get checked out by someone eventually.
Eventually? Nigga, it's been a day. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's because I run really small games or if I run games that are, since they're so small, people like submit a world record because it's usually pretty free, right?
Yeah.
Because the game has like 2 or 3 runs. And these people are just creaming their pants at their computer or something, right? Like, oh my God, I got a world record. Like, bro, you're going to get 15 views on a YouTube video after it's verified. Like, relax, okay? Just relax, right? I am always happy. And I don't mean to sound ungrateful that people are running these games that I like, because both of these games I do really like, and I'm glad that people want to play them, you know? And when people come to my DMs and they're annoying about it, like, at the end of the day, I'm not like mad that they're running the game. No, they're not beating my time, so it doesn't matter to me, you know, like. But like,
Like, dude.
the other thing is like, just I want to know where decorum went, dude. Where did etiquette go? Where did like trying to understand how to navigate the space you're in go, instead of just like going in?
Twitter.
Like it's
instant
so
gratification.
weird.
Instant
It is instant
information.
gratification. Yeah, I mean I don't want to always come back to that because it seems reductive, but you are correct. Like it's kind of just where it went. Like people submit something and then like, oh my God, it's been 5 minutes. Why the fuck hasn't my world record been verified yet? I can't get bitches on my dick without the fucking whatever PS2 game.
He was about to drop the
or-
game name, bro.
I was about to drop the game name. You know, it's not a PS2 game, but like I won't fucking have all the bitches on my dick if I don't have the fucking Valkyrie profile
Scooby-Doo 9
run.
100 Frights
It's a-
world record.
It's not Valkyrie Profile because I don't run Valkyrie Profile, but I've recently bought Valkyrie Profile, so that's on my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, there's etiquette for this. Like, I would think to myself, right?
What if one of her
when I
world?
first, dude, I do think that sometimes. I used to think that, but when I got into speedrunning, my greatest fear was being annoying. Okay. And I wish
Yes.
people had more of that irrational fear, okay? Because, like, you know, it's just like you can avoid, like, I always think I'm being annoying when I'm, like, trying to help people out, like, or if I'm hitting something up, like
you
somebody
might be
up
onto
about
something.
something, or, like, trying to, all right, motherfucker. I'll see you at GDQ, bitch. We'll settle this then. But like, I don't know, man, like coming into somebody's DMs unannounced that you don't know, that you just found out existed like 5 minutes ago. I think I would just reflect on that and be like, maybe I should wait. And I'll tell you why. It's because like, even for runs that have sat there for like 2 weeks, there was a run that I needed re-verified for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because I had to switch it over to a YouTube video. That shit sat there for a month in that queue, and I was like, yeah, they'll get to it, whatever, you know. I'm not gonna sit there and hit up the fucking mod about a 5-minute run where I sat there with Chris Redfield and shot people in the prone status for 5 minutes. Like, whatever, bro. But anyway, that's my rant done.
Yeah, I don't know. Like part of that, like, just seems like a culture of lack of self-awareness. Like,
It definitely
I just see that a
is,
lot.
yeah.
And then also, it's like I kind of thought about it as you're saying it. Is like in the kind of era that maybe, because when did you start speedrunning, Cosmic?
2018.
2019.
About 4 months ago.
2018.
18.
2018.
So at least speaking from my experience, the way that you like picked up on and learned what the speedrunning culture was by like watching a specific speedrun streamer or getting into them through that way, right? But nowadays, like, people just know speedrunning exists and it's
That's
more so
true.
just talked about,
Yeah.
right? You don't get
Yeah.
a filtered version of it from a source. You just get an abstract concept. And
Yeah,
I wonder if that's part of it too, because people see the opportunity. Oh, speedrunning is a thing that can be done,
Yeah.
but you don't know the greater context of where this community came from, right? So maybe it has to do with that.
it's
I think
possibly, yeah.
a lot of people today just don't know how to talk to people.
Yeah,
That is true.
I feel
True,
like just
yeah.
like conversational awareness has gone down the drain. And I'm one to talk because I feel like since COVID, I
Yeah.
don't know how to fucking. I used to be super extroverted when I was in high school, and now I don't even want to like order food.
I remember
like, dude.
I remember like lurking in my buddy's stream, and like I tuned out for a while, like, cause he was doing some runs or whatever, and like I'm just kind of there to chill and lurk and chat occasionally, you know, or whatever. So I tune out and I'm doing my thing, and I hear him go, "Wow, that is so fucking rude of you to say," and I like turn back over, and someone has said in his chat, "I don't want to be mean." And I like your streams, but I really want to watch other person more right now.
I love that. I love that genre of comment where it's just like, "Oh, XYZ is
don't
streaming.
wanna
I'm
be
gonna go watch
mean."
that. See you later."
Yeah, I remember like when somebody did this to me like twice, and I went, "Well, then you can never fucking come back, bitch," and they never fucking came back. I was like, I don't need to be your waiting room for whatever fucking game, dude.
Yeah, like
you know, and I said
it's
to
like
him
being
too,
someone's
and
backup
I
plan. It's like,
and I guarantee, because I know the streamer that you're talking about, that you're leaving to go and watch. If they heard you say that shit, they would be like, "What the fuck, bro?" So like,
yeah.
Wow.
I also hate the I like, not the inverse, but like when, like, I don't know, say like you're a streamer and you pop in someone's chat and then someone in the chat is like
are you streaming?
asking
today?
you and talking to you about like your stream the other day
I
or whatever.
hate that.
I hate that so much,
bro. Dude,
Yeah.
quick aside, he doesn't do it anymore, but I will air his shit out because I like him. Waffle did this to me at one point where I would be in Lunistus streamers'
Ouch.
chats, like when Lunistus was popping, and I would just like come in, you know, yap a little. I wouldn't say too much, maybe offer help or whatever.
Just introduce yourself. say
And then
hi.
he would start talking to me like, "Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna blah 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 blah?" And I like DM'd him. I was like, "Hey man, don't talk about my stream and other people's stream. Like, just don't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for
like,
real.
You know what I mean?
Don't
Like,
do it.
don't." And he doesn't do
You're
it
there to
anymore.
enjoy their
But
stream.
Yeah,
it's
and-
just like, I don't. This is not like, because also with like Lunistus and like the specific scenario I was in, like I was the world record holder of everything, so I already demand more attention than I would like by entering a Lunistus
Yeah.
chat to begin with at all,
Yeah.
because I'm kind of a distraction at
I
some point,
kinda have that
especially
with
if
some of the
they
other
know
Neopets
me or know
runners.
what's going on,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like another like conversation. But it's like on top of that, then you start talking like actually to me in the chat. I'm like, then no. I always would just subvert,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, hey, yeah, they're doing this. Wow, hey, good 3-2, man." Like, I don't know. Like, I would just ignore them. I would just be like,
Yeah.
"Please stop."
It's always better like when the streamer actually like just decides to piggyback off of what this person's saying. Like I don't actually have an example off like the top of my head, but I think that somebody's like asked me about like a run or something that I did, and then the streamer would be like, "Yeah, Cosmic, when are you gonna actually beat that time?" You know, or something like that. And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, so they're actually interested too. So now I can talk about this." You
Yeah.
know? But like if
I
it's
mean,
just
even then,
if
it almost feels like they're obligated to say that, so then it doesn't like feel
not
awkward
necessarily, because I've
sometimes.
seen other people like just ignore it, but I'm not gonna like go full blown about it, right? I am gonna like try and just wrap up the
Yeah,
convo.
just like one sentence, like,
know,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna try
like-
later.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
The worst
like
part
sigh
too.
eventually.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I didn't have anything else to say.
I was just gonna say, like, the worst thing about some of these people is like these
waffle.
like socially inept. Damn. All right. Anyway, so the problem with some of these like very socially inept speedrunners is like if like it translates into the like their behavior online translates into the IRL of just being like some of the most awkward and uncomfortable people to be around ever. Like
That's true.
There's a group chat I was in for one of the previous GDQ events where we were just using it as a way to like relay between everyone who was rooming together of like where this specific problem person was at all times, because like they would just like find you and lock you down in like the unskippable cutscene or like say some insane shit, right? So it's just like
unskippable cutscene.
Damn, there ain't no patch for that
crazy.
shit.
I love using that turn of phrase
I know
when
exactly
it's like
what that means too.
especially like when I'm at, God bless his heart, but when I'm with my granddad and he's like telling me an old story or something like that.
Dude,
Because he's 96, so he talks slow.
Yeah, they're the masters at the unskippable, bro.
Exactly.
And you're like,
exactly.
okay, this is the 14th time today that you've told me this, but let's go.
Yup.
But yeah, I don't know. But I don't know what we do about it other than just complain. So it's like,
Oh, I love
I feel like
complaining.
there's kinds of people like that in every
fair.
community. I feel like, you know, like there's
Yeah.
kind of no avoiding it, but you just gotta
It's
do
true.
whatever.
But that doesn't mean I need to tolerate them while they're here.
no, exactly.
You know,
like it's
it
a
is what
problem,
it
but I
is.
just don't know if like it's a problem even worth like having a grand solution to. I guess. you know?
yeah.
Well, there's no
That's-
solution. The
yeah, that's
solution
pretty
is
fair.
that we should... Never mind.
Bully them.
There was like 7 or 8 different ways that could have gone, and I don't want to even know which one.
Yeah,
which route you took
I
there,
halted
bud.
all of them. Don't worry about
Thank
it.
you.
I just want to harken back that, you know, almost at the beginning of the podcast, I said the phrase that there are stupid questions, don't ask them. And I'm just saying, I think it's coming back, and I think I was right, guys. And you all judge me, but I think
coming
I'm
back.
correct. I don't know.
It's coming back in a big way, man. I'm here for it.
And speaking of coming back in a big way, GDQ submissions are back
Yeah.
in a big way.
True.
And 2 of our very own have submitted to GDQ.
Yeah.
And they're going to talk to you about it. Wow, it was all like almost a good transition, but then I didn't know how to close it. But
Yeah.
it was kind of fire up until I lost it.
I appreciate
it was-
the
yeah, it was
hustle. It
good.
was a hustle play for
Yeah.
sure.
It was tight. Yeah, I was about it.
Guys, leave a review
Yeah.
of my performance down below the like button, please.
Nice.
So, Jax, how do you want to handle this? Are we going to hand it off, or are we going to like
So
dump
one
and then
thing
the
I
other one
wanted
dump,
to mention
or what?
is I just kind of wanted to mention broadly as well for people who don't really know that like I'd say like March through like the summer is kind of like the big marathon season for speedrunning, right?
I
Where it's
agree.
just like there is a shitload of events back to back to back, and March is kind of also that like get your submissions in phase sort of thing. And you have a bit of that in February, a bit of that in April as well. So it's for anyone who's kind of in that circuit and likes doing marathon runs and stuff like that. Everyone's kind of super caught up in that right now. Like GDQ had like 2 active, like had like I think like 3 or 4 active open events to be submitting to.
Yeah, because there's the PAX West,
PAX-
there's
no,
SGDQ,
PAX East.
and AA, or PAX East, yeah, and NAAPI, yeah.
And
Which I totally forgot to
Tri-State
submit to PAX
Visibility,
East.
Yeah, it was just a lot.
Probably
So-
2026 for me for PAX East or something. So,
Yeah.
because yeah, I need to. I don't know. PAX East, like the PAX events, seem like a definitely different experience, and I'd
They
like
are
to.
a very different experience.
to go to
so
one,
I think,
yeah.
and I can get into this a little bit more because I was planning on talking about. So I also submitted to PAX East in addition.
Yeah, you can
to
go with your PAX East
the
first,
GDQ
yeah.
submissions. And one of the big things with PAX East is that pretty much the whole time, unless you're like the first run of the day, the room that you're in is pretty much packed. Like, there are always a lot of people in the crowd watching. And you don't really get that same feeling at GDQ because almost everyone who goes to GDQ are like speedrunners or like speedrun adjacent. So they're there to hang out with their speedrun friends, and the stream room is like an afterthought sort of thing for them, right? So you end up getting like a lot of people who are just really like watching the speedrunning and just sitting there, and then there'll be people that like come up and talk to you or like ask you questions and stuff like that. So like to me, that's kind of like the appeal of like the PAX events. Like there was one, I think it was the Baldur's Gate 3 run at PAX West, where because they had Larian Studios do a booth there, they basically at the end of the run like gifted the runner like a collector's edition copy of the game or something like that.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty tight.
So it was like this fucking huge ass box with a statue in it. And
Do you
was
think
like,
I could do
like,
that
you
if I
don't-
ran Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights at PAX
I don't
East?
know, bro.
There ain't no collector's edition
Yeah.
to give, bro. They don't. That game
So
ain't good enough.
the whole reason I bring that up is because it's a medium is the message sort of thing, where because of that change in atmosphere, it kind of impacts what you might want to submit to that, essentially. So like bigger names, like bigger franchises, obviously, like crowd
Like
the room
Vex,
the fuck out.
like Whiplash.
No, I did Vex at PAX East last year, and
Neopets.
it was not.
Honestly,
it wasn't
Neopets
packed,
is
I would say.
low-key would like maybe go flames out of PAX.
Exactly.
Unironically.
Probably.
Because
So-
everyone knows Neopets.
Yeah. So that and that kind of influenced. That was actually the first one that I submitted was Neopets, because I was like Neopets in front of a live crowd who were like, "What the fuck is going on?" It would be really funny.
And that game is like
That game is-
crazy as a spectator to watch.
That game is so fucked up. And then this will be a theme with my SGDQ submissions as well, but I also kind of honed in on Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, and Frog Monster. Frog Monster just because it's kind of like my one good FPS game submission, so it gives me, like, if they have a lot of good platformer representation.
It's your
and they
diversity
don't-
hire.
It is a diversity hire, but it's also just a great
Crazy
game, and I
way to
love running
phrase
it.
it.
So yeah, exactly.
I think it's a normal way to phrase it. I don't know.
And then Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, I feel like that would do really good at something like PAX East. Like, it would be cool. Like, maybe somebody shows up in like cosplay or has like a tattoo from the game, because there's a lot of like clan symbology and like glyphs
What?
and runes and stuff in that series.
What's the
Not
matter?
that kind of clans.
That sounded bad, dude. That sounded
Vampire clans.
Oh, okay.
They're vampires.
Okay.
Okay. I was just making sure. I was
So,
wondering.
I mean, if you think white people are vampires, then you're right to be. But
I mean, they kind of are. I mean,
I go outside. Fuck you.
are you
but
submitting
anyway.
the remaster or the normal Game of Pro?
No, the OG.
Are you submitting the
and I'll
remaster
probably-
to SGDQ, like big boy?
No, I'll kind of explain the whole Legacy of Kain situation
Okay,
for GDQ
I'll shut
once
the
I
fuck
get
up.
there. No, it's all good. It's all good. but like Soul Reaver's kind of my like big focus of like, this is probably the most entertaining thing that I have to offer. Frog Monster's kind of that side pickup that would also be really good. Neopets, because what you said earlier, Nestani. And then I also sometimes use these smaller events that if I know like these are my 3 really good submissions, then I might throw in a couple other games just to gauge interest from like whoever is on games committee for that. So as a result, I threw Warden Melody of the Undergrowth back in, which I did specifically the all collectibles run, which is like Hundo.
I'm gonna wiggle in front of my dad.
Yes, that game. And we did that ages ago as like a 12-minute any percent run, but like the all collectibles route is like a tight hour and it is fucked up. So I've been wanting to show off one of the longer of the 2 categories, but it's just like, it's Warden.
I think-
It's probably already kind of had its shot. So it's like,
I think
No.
Warden was the first of your runs that I ever saw in person at a GDQ.
that was my first in-person GDQ run. Yeah.
Well,
Because
there
all
you
mine
go, then.
previous to that had been online. So.
Nice.
And then the other one, which I will be slightly terrified if they pick, because this event is happening, I believe, in May? I think early May.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have a lot of time to de-rust this if it got in, but I also submitted Frogger 2.
They don't take that shit, dog. You're gonna be like,
Yeah. But if they do take it, I'm going to kind of leverage that.
That's what a stream sounds like, by the way, when we play Frogger.
Yeah, it is keyboard. I wouldn't even call
true.
it ASMR. It is keyboard.
Oh, no, it is.
Destruction, dude.
Yeah.
It is
It is
keyboard
the opposite.
BDSM. It's bad.
Whatever the opposite of ASMR is, that's what that is
Yeah.
during Frogger 2.
But I'm kind of throwing that in there because if that's the run or one of the runs they want for some reason, then I can leverage that as a way to force myself to get better at that game and get better times because I've been so demotivated with that game because
It's hard.
it really fucking hurts after a while, as you might expect. Because I think it would be really cool to have Frogger 2 in a mainline one day. I'm just not good enough to submit it. So it's like leveraging my ADHD brain, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of my whole PAX East thing. Unfortunately, the website isn't showing like who else submitted to that, which is annoying because I like to spy and peep and see like what else got submitted, who else was playing something stupid. So that's pretty much my ideas for my PAX East stuff. But probably the more important thing, and probably the thing any people care about more, is the SGDQ stuff. So that's the big summer event that will make your career and will get you
Cosmic
10
for
trillion survivors. Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna throw it over to Cosmic.
Let's have Cosmic
what did you
kick
end
this
up
one up.
submitting?
Well,
Well,
can you give me like 5 minutes? This guy's back, and I need to like answer the DM.
Oh no.
Oh man,
do you have a question?
it's so crazy to me how people can disappear for 4 years, and then when they have a chance to get their 9 second IGT world record back by way of a technicality, all of a sudden they have logged on to SRC like every 15 minutes. I see you and you ain't slick. It's also very interesting to me how people weaponize like good faith arguments in a bad faith way. Isn't it important to know what was done differently or new strats? The other runs that I do, they required keeping a very visual proof of record as opposed to just something's not very visual. It's either visual or not.
Yeah, it's a black or white thing.
Very visual proof of record, and let alone for others to examine and learn from. Dude, we're talking about 30 milliseconds here.
Dude, I just ignore them.
30 milliseconds, bro. But yeah, so it's so annoying for me to like have to deal with
It's
people
just
that
so
just
low stakes.
they weaponize like good faith arguments, right? It's just so stupid.
Well, I would say that the other people do this, so we should do that. I don't think that's a good faith argument.
Yeah, it's not either. Yeah. Basically, I'm just going to tell them it's game and community dependent, pretty much. So it's just
This
like,
is what we want. Yeah.
or I'm just going to hit them with it's definitely important. Like,
Holy
you're correct. What does that have to do with this? Like, good God, dude. Anyway,
I guess it's called you. Yeah. So I guess it is sort of an ask, and I hope that it doesn't overlap with like what like you guys are about to talk about because you haven't really mentioned like GDQ stuff yet. But on YouTube, I saw Jax that you did the Soul Reaver commentated run.
Yeah.
And I only watched a little bit of it because it was just when I was eating lunch. And I want to go back and watch it because I love watching commentated runs, especially if they're like longer, because then it's like, oh boy, I have something to watch while I eat for like days. Like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was just curious if I think you and Cosmic, I would love to see more commentated runs from you guys. And I didn't know.
Oh,
if
just
that was
like as a
something you were-
content thing generally?
Yeah. Yeah. I just didn't know if you were ever interested in doing that, or I don't want to like.
Let the Speedrun explain
so
thing.
to fill all the audio listeners in on what happened, typically as part of like submitting to any marathon, we create what's called a submission video, which is proving that a video that proves that you can beat the game that you're going to be submitting under the time frame that you submitted as well, right? And so a lot of times people will add extra things into their submissions on top of those like baseline requirements to make it more likely that their run gets looked at with a more fine-toothed comb, I think is the phrase. Yeah. And so there's a couple of things that people do. The most common one is to have some sort of like marathon commentary, as it's called, where it's like commentary that's explaining what's going on, maybe how it works, how something was developed, or maybe even just like lore about the game and like what we're doing in the context of the game's story, right? And so that's usually done as a way of proving to the people looking at the run that you will be entertaining, because you can get people engaged with what's going on screen, and you have a full understanding of what the interesting parts are, right? And then there's another bit as well that has become a trend more recently, which are highlights and timestamps in video descriptions, which basically allows the committee to like click on like what the key highlights and moments are so they can get a better idea. Because like GDQ gets like thousands of fucking submissions. It's absolutely insane.
Going
so they just typically can't go through all of them.
If a committee member is like trying to click around your video and they like get bored or they lose focus and they click away, then that's really bad, right? So having those extra little things to be magnetic is really helpful, right?
Yeah.
The reason I bring this up is that for Soul Reaver 1 specifically, I was recording a submission video for the All Bosses category. Mostly because I was planning on using the hotfix one, but then Brazil happened. So, oops. But, so I did this, I do this run, right? I do it basically with live commentary as well, because that's what I liked. That's the way I like to do it, as opposed to like a voiceover sort of thing. And I get world record by 9 seconds because I implemented a new strat. So I was like, oh, okay, well now I have to like upload this and make it public because it's a world record and it's like history and all that. So
yeah,
I find it interesting that like you were like excited to see something like that, because like I didn't think like I know Speedrun Explained is like a brand of content that people like watching, but I didn't think like that kind of heavy commentary stuff was like a hook, if you will. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common for people to really enjoy, because I see it a lot in like YouTube comments that like whenever somebody is able to just explain everything while they're playing, people are usually pretty impressed by it.
Yeah,
and it also typically like the more detail, the better.
Yeah, and it also just feels like you're sitting on the couch like with the person and they're just like explaining everything to you while they're playing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just find that really nice. There are some videos where they're like they hyper edit it and stuff like that, and I think that's fine too. But like I don't know, the ones that I enjoy is like it's just the gameplay and then they're commentating over it. Like I started watching, like what got me into it was the Twilight Princess runs, because those are like hours and hours long.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I love this game, but I don't know how I would even learn about the speed. I'm not interested in learning about the speed run, but I just want to know about it. And that was like a great way to do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love those. I've thought about making them for like frights and things like that. Or like Scooby Unmasked, because I mean, nobody plays that game. So I think it'd be cool if
Sin thrown under the table, bro.
Well, I mean, unless he makes some, then I would be ecstatic if he did that. But also those categories are kind of short, so I don't know.
I do have a question. What do you mean by like
matters,
commentary, like commentary videos? Because isn't that just like marathon videos, or do you mean like dedicated, like you do a run and then you commentate over it? Like what are you really referring to?
Well, so.
Because marathon runs, like,
it's like
they're everywhere. Like you can just watch a marathon.
Well, the
run.
thing about marathon runs is that it's like they're doing it live and stuff like that,
as opposed to potentially being scripted.
Yeah, I think it's like, for me, it's cleaner to watch it like scripted most of the time. Like very rarely do I see a live run where, not that it keeps me engaged.
I guess my question is that
Jax
basically does the same thing in his commentary, like submission videos, that he does in actual marathon. That's really that's where my thought process is going, which is why I'm asking. Yeah. Because he performs very similarly versus on stage versus off stage. Maybe
That's
it's because
why
he
I
has other commentators. Do you not like the other
the-
commentators? Is that it? Do you not like other commentators? You just want it to be just him solo? Because I guess that's like the only difference is that like submission videos are normally solo. And, you know.
Yeah. I think the other key thing is that you can like edit in visuals to explain concepts better. So like if I'm talking about
that's
like Neopets, for example, and I'm talking about the y=0 plane, I can like have like a reference image up talking about like coordinates, like on a coordinate graph, right? Or like if I usually describe it as it's like similar to how Minecraft coordinates work. And then like have a representative image to go along with that. The other thing with like editing it is you can pause it when you need to.
Yeah.
And like really break down
true.
what happened and then go back and watch it maybe in slow-mo or giving a better idea of what inputs to expect. So
yeah, I guess also when it's like a prepared video, like when you're on the stage or whatever like that, like I feel like there's more pressure to make sure that you're doing other things. Like it's more of like, that's like, you're more of like performing or something. So you're kind of like concerned about like your energy. And then it's like, oh, well, I need to make sure that like I have enough energy while also playing well so that I meet the time requirement that's needed and the time frame and stuff
and if
like
it's
that.
Charity event, time for donations.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
another example of the medium is the message.
That's the big thing, I think, is that there's no charity thing. So the video flows way smoother when you're,
Yeah.
all right, I'm back. That's all I need to
We
do.
got you.
Now no charity.
I guess, yeah, took me a while.
All right.
I've never really thought about why I liked it more, but yeah.
GDQ submissions, fellas.
Yeah. So, well, I do want to say, Cole, if you're looking for something like that from me specifically, when I ran Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition on Hotfix, I did post this in our voice chat, but for those unaware, I did run Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition recently on GDQ Hotfix, and it was just me doing solo comms, and I just explained everything as I went through. So
It'll be linked
that
below
is
the like button.
And then segueing into submission videos, that is what I'm using for my submission video for SGDQ, is because that was actually the first time on the GDQ channel maybe it was the first time on the GDQ channel. No, it was the second time. That the run as it exists now was actually shown. And it was not like it is the run as it exists now with its out of bounds glitches and everything has never been shown at a mainline event. So the last time that the category that I ran, which is the main cast Nero Dante V in New Game Human was back in 2020. So it's been 5 years since that was in, and the run was had a lot less glitches in it then.
Yeah.
It was also considerably less optimized. Like, my run then was like a 130 or something, and now the estimate, well, it was like a 134 or something back in 2020, and now the estimate is 120. My PB is a 106.
Sure.
And the only reason that the difference is so high there is because if you miss some of these glitches, it's minutes of time loss. So, got to be safe. But for example, the run in that submission video or the run on the hotfix clocked in at a 111. Or maybe it was a 109 actually. I don't remember. It was a pretty fucking hot run. Yeah. I landed everything.
To put a bow on the whole like marathon submission video type stuff, I think Tomato Anus would be someone who's really good. That's his handle.
Yeah.
He's from the Fallout.
I'm just here.
Yep. What?
Yeah.
I'm just here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just chilling.
So
I mean, the other thing.
Tomato anus.
Yeah,
the other thing
he does
too,
really good videos, and I think that's a good way of like, other than the not having time for donations thing, is like a way of understanding like the power of being able to improve the flow by like the edit.
The other thing too is that I kind of want to say is that sometimes it's just not worth it to record a submission video. Sometimes a run just kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Like
Like if you're I just want to interrupt real quick because one of my favorite submissions of all
I want to interrupt.
One of my favorite submissions of all time was for a Super Metroid race, where the submission text was just a 4-way Super Metroid 100% race between like X, Y, Z, Q top players, right?
Yeah.
That was literally it. It was just Super Metroid 100% race versus X, Y, Z. And the video was just PB VOD because, they were first or third or whatever the fuck, right? And it got in because it's Super Metroid. And they weren't going to be commentating because it's a 4-way race. So it's like...
on the other end of this, like
Same thing with my Fire Emblem run is that I just submitted that shit raw. It's just my PB. I didn't talk in that bitch at all. I just submitted the PB.
Yeah.
Like, I'm silent.
That's crazy.
For my submissions, I think for Vanquish, Gungrave, and then DMC4 as well as Van Helsing, I submitted just PV VODs. And then those got accepted. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, as long you can have a decent submission video, and as long as the game kind of speaks for itself or is interesting enough, then creating a separate submission video can only do so much realistically, right? Like, if your run is hold forward for 20 minutes, unless it's named Resident Evil or Silent Hill, you might want to try and, you know, sell it a little harder.
Yeah.
But, like, for example, you know, in Devil May Cry 4, if somebody skips around and they happen to go to mission 16 and you're doing all this style switching and weapon switching and going through the ceiling, immediately a community member is going to be like, oh shit. But, like, for example, when Dangerous submitted Alpha Prime, yeah, that one. The committee member that immediately was like interested in the run told him, you know, he was clicking through the video and he saw Dangerous like fly through a wall by like tossing a grenade or some shit like that. And he immediately was just hooked and he was like, okay, I need to watch more of this. And that's how that game pretty much got in.
That's also why those timestamps are so invaluable now.
Yeah.
Is you can just like hook
I
them
fall
right
through
over
water,
to the
clip through wall. Like,
yeah, exactly.
that could just be the timestamp. You don't have to describe it.
Yeah.
Just be like,
Yeah.
I walk on water. Like, it just happens. Yeah.
Great Dane
I think
Jesus.
also like sometimes as well, if you just have like a really good marathon run, you can just use that VOD as your submission video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that's literally like if I ever
that's-
submit Frights 100%, I'm literally just going to use the VOD of me and Cole on GDQ Hotfix that one night where we just fucking... It was so unhinged, but it was hilarious.
We did not care.
It was gold.
Nice. Hell
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Anyway, you guys need to actually talk about your fucking submissions.
Yeah, let's
Yeah, I
actually
was
talk
gonna
about
say,
what
yeah.
we
Yeah,
submitted
sorry,
here.
so-
Cosmic, I'm gonna let
a
you
little bit, my bad.
pop off.
I was
'cause
gonna say I already kind of got through halfway of one of mine, so I'll just finish off that one, which is DMC5 Special Edition. Once again, the last time Special Edition was even in was 2000 and either 21 or 22.
It was
which is
Virgil,
when
right?
it was Virgil.
Virgil.
Yeah, so it was at least like 3 years ago. And I actually got confirmation from one of the committee members that they didn't guarantee this, like they didn't guarantee it would get in, but I actually had concerns about the tech setup for it because you need to have a high FPS capture as well as a high FPS monitor in order to run the game, like in order to do the skips and everything. And I had concerns like, okay, are we going to even be able to do this so I can access the high FPS mode on the PS5? And I got confirmation, yes, we can do this. So I am actually able to submit it this time around. And that was quite cool. I'm not looking forward to possibly having to travel with a fucking minivan on my back with the PS5, you know. But honestly, I've been kind of balling into this year in terms of money, so I might just buy a mini to travel with, to be honest.
Damn.
There's
a PS5 mini.
Dude, you should buy the
There's a
PS5,
PS5
Pro,
mini.
dude.
Fuck no.
Dude, fuck no.
Fuck no. But that category is great. There's a lot of different changes. There's like 4 or 5 new skips that just have never been shown at a main event. And it's dope. So I am very excited. I mean, the game's just much more optimized now. Like it's such a cool run. It's my favorite speed game. So I'm hopefully looking forward to showing it off. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they decide that they want it. Hopefully it's been long enough. You want to just do like 1 and 1, or are we gonna
do
am I
all
just gonna
yours?
say all of my shit?
Yeah, do all of yours.
Okay, so my list is I'll preface this by saying this is going to be like 3 or 4 main things, and then my 5th one's a toss up. So the second one is going to be Lady and Trish Devil May Cry 4. Now Lady and Trish, definitely probably I think the lowest execution run of DMC4, but it's also the category that has never been shown.
Yeah.
It's also a category where typically in Devil May Cry runs, the orb route, like the currency, is like a big thing. But in Lady and Trish, Trish actually just breaks the entire economy of the game. Because if you run at 120 FPS, she has a move that every time it ticks, it'll do damage. So if you throw it on these red orb crystals, normally at like 60 FPS, you could get 40,000 red orbs, which is a lot of money for reference. So for reference, a holy water, which is like an AoE item, costs like 20,000 at max cost. So you could get 2 of these at least. At 120 FPS, you can get like 80,000 red orbs from one red orb crystal.
Oh.
So now you can you're just swimming in money. And this is really the only instance that we see of a dynamic like this between 2 characters in a DMC game. Because Lady just kind of blows everything up with a shotgun. And there's actually instances where like the RNG of fights is minimized because of how much damage she does and certain abilities that she has access to. Like a boss will actually eat her, and then you can blast out of the boss with a bunch of grenades, and that actually stuns it immediately. So she gives up a no damage bonus on one of those missions, but she never has to deal with the boss's attack patterns. It just always goes the same way. So like she's a very minimalist character in that you need like 3 things really, and then you're just kind of off to the races. And she doesn't really use a ton of items. She uses maybe like 2 holy waters the whole time. But, well, until the last boss, and then you nuke him with like 6. But Trish is what enables her to do that, and Trish also has just like a few tools. You have to buy a lot for her, but there's a lot of cool shit going on.
Yeah.
There's some cool skips and everything. Again, it's never been shown, so I'd really like to show that one off. More guns on the way, though, because Vanquish is going to be the other one that I'm going to be submitting.
Oh, you're bringing Vanquish back. Okay.
But here's the caveat. So the last run that I did for it in 2021, I think, or maybe it was 2022, was the with DLC weapons category, or with DLC, where you use this thing called the anti-armor pistol, which is like the little cousin of the Halo 1 pistol, and it just shreds like everything, right? You know? So the whole game, you pretty much just use the same loadout the whole time. Now we've optimized that to like have different loadouts that you'll use for different situations, because like there will be fixed drops for certain weapons, different melee attacks are attached to certain weapons. You can use it to optimize certain things. Not the point. I'm going to be submitting the category that does not use the anti-armor pistol at all. It doesn't use any of the DLC weapons. So when you don't have access to the anti-armor pistol, the shotgun is now your primary weapon to upgrade. And it is not like an all-purpose thing like the anti-armor pistol is. You have to get up close to things, and for it to be like really, really useful, we pretty much don't touch this weapon until like the 8th subsection of a chapter, because we're just farming levels for it until the 2nd chapter when it's at max, and it goes from shooting like boom, 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 boom to like boom, 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 and it just like chucks out damage. So
my heart when I see white women.
True, especially Haley Williams.
I'm so sorry.
Overall, the freaking Tom and Jerry.
Right? Yeah. Overall, there's just a lot more like weapon variety in this, because you're using the rocket launcher a lot more. You're using the LFE gun a lot more, which shoots out like a giant orb. You have the shotgun, obviously, which is something that just never gets used in the with DLC category. There's a ton of different things that actually get like that see use. There's a lot more swapping out weapons for certain loadouts, because like the anti-armor pistol also has a melee attack that allows you to clip out of bounds, but the heavy machine gun is the only other gun that shares this melee attack. So to have access to those oob clips, there are times where we're actually swapping out like our main assault rifle and then keeping the heavy machine gun on us for like 2 subsections of chapters, just to be able to skip like one thing, and then it's like, all right, we're going back to this thing, you know. Or there's even a point where we carry a rocket launcher for like a full 10 minutes to bring it all the way to a boss. Like it just sits there in our inventory, just not being used until we get to a boss, because otherwise like it would just be slower to not use that rocket launcher. But you have to carry that shit like all the way from one fight through. So there's a lot more routing in terms of like just everything really, because you don't have like that all-purpose weapon that just shreds the entire game. So I that hasn't been shown, that category specifically hasn't been shown since like 2016 or 2017. And it's a lot more optimized. The person that actually showed it off was the person that inspired me to pick up the game, which was Half Coordinated.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's going to be the other one. I would like to see Vanquish return. That'd be dope.
So
The fourth one, three main ones. Yeah. Fourth, this is like the big curveball, really, which is a race between myself, Asuka for 24, and Dynamite Dan, the Dirge Runner, the Bouncer. So we're gonna be racing all three characters of the Bouncer. So each of us have a character assigned to us. I have Sion. Dynamite Dan has Vault, and Asuka has
fire.
Ko. Yeah, it's pretty tight.
I was so confused too because I saw Dan like streaming Volt the other day, and I'm like, when did he learn the Bouncer? I'm like, why is he playing the Bouncer? Now it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So there's now like 4 people submitting the Bouncer because we're submitting a 3-way race, and then Ecdysis is submitting a bid war of the characters. So I'm like, what's going to happen, dude? Are they going to go for the race or are they going to go for the bid war?
Because they've taken Ek on backup before.
They're just going to make a block.
Yeah, for the Bouncer. That'd be cool. Yeah. But the Bouncer, for those that don't know, the Bouncer is like a beat 'em up game where you play a bouncer, and it is like it is hilariously jank. The way you like clear rooms efficiently is by getting enemies to ragdoll into each other, because the more they bounce around, pun not intended, the more damage it does. And then you also get like point multipliers to be able to upgrade your strength faster. That run is like 30 minutes tops, right? So it is like, you know, if you've ever seen the meme where there's a title screen where the guy says the Bouncer, that's the game.
Bouncer.
So, and it's a game that predates Kingdom Hearts, and the character designer for Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII was on it. It's a very funny.
So the main guy looks kind of like Sora.
He looks like prototype Sora.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
It's a dope game.
The cutscenes are also ridiculous as well, if I remember correctly.
That's true. That game casually is like 3 hours tops. Yeah, like 2 to 3 hours tops.
It was a very funny Big Bad Game-a-thon. I think it was the finale. Was an all cutscenes run.
Oh, that's incredible.
And that was like a 3-hour estimate. That shit was funny as fuck.
We just named a guy
so great. Yeah. Yeah,
it's like naming a guy horse.
Well, it's cow. A chick. It's a chick, but yeah.
Shoutouts to Knuckles.
There's like
Knuckles, like they do like the rat.
Like in the course of the Bouncer, you fight like parking lot police security guards, and then you also like 20 minutes later fight a cyborg that knows Muay Thai. Like, sure, okay, whatever. And you also fight construction robots. You know, it's a dope game. It would be pretty cool to run that. I will say, though, I've been trying to get a PB, and I haven't finished your run, so that's cool.
You sound like me.
Yeah.
You sound like me.
And then my 5th one, I'm kind of going back and forth on. I've been, like, kind of perusing my my list of games that I run for kind of, like, seeing if anything kind of grabs me. I really thought this is kind of where I get like into like sad boy moments for a little bit, because I really thought that I was going to have a lot more motivation to learn some new games and really want to submit those, especially with something like Dynasty Warriors Origins coming out. And I even got the boards for that game, did some runs of it, and I immediately just like did not feel like playing the game again. I mean, I spent like 80 hours on it overall. Between like routing, doing the casual playthrough, doing some runs, but I mean, it's a dope game. It's an excellent game. But I would get home and I'm like, I don't feel like playing this game right now. But like, you know, I'll get home and I'll play DMC, or I'll play, what is it? Like lately I've been practicing the Bouncer. I've lately been trying to de-rust Vanquish a little bit so I can actually put together a proper submission video, because I think that game, for me to really sell the changes that have been made and the difference between the two categories, I really think that I am going to have to commentate a run and just say it straight up, you know, like, this is what's going on, here's the comparison, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, like, there's another Mushu game called Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, which I mean, again, it was one of those things where I was like,
That's so many words
I
that I
might
don't
be
know.
able, I felt like I was going to be wanting to run that more. And I'm like, nope, I don't feel like playing this right now. So there's that. So it's like, I think maybe at the end of the day, I'm going to like just submit Otogi 2 as like a why the fuck not. And then if it gets in, just grind my ass off because that game's hard. So
I was gonna.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Like,
It's
if you
either
didn't
that
say
or-
that, I was gonna ask why you haven't been considering submitting Otogi 2, but
So, Otogi 2, there's a couple of things. Number one, I'm bad. So there's that. I'm only 2 minutes off record, but
that's not
that
bad.
game is so hard that I think that for Otogi 1 and 2, there still have been no deathless runs of them, I think.
Oh, not
I
even
know-
Otogi 1?
I know for Otogi 2 this is a fact, and the only reason that I know that it's a fact is because the person that's come the closest is me, which is one death on the final boss. And that's because of RNG.
Wow.
So I lost like 16 seconds and took a death because of a wrong attack coming out or whatever, or the boss doing a wrong pattern. But there is some shit in this game that is like very fucked up because of the way that the route works. In that route, you have to do a 3,000 hit combo on like the 4th stage
What?
to get an item. This is a FromSoft game, okay? Remember, to get an item called the
3,000
magic.
combo?
Yeah, so you use magic, and there's a bunch of enemies in one stage that like all spawn. So you just kind of hit them with magic that does no damage until like a certain point. So you use the character that has like the lowest magic stat. So it does like 0 damage basically, and you just do a shit ton of combo, and then you kill a bunch of them to end the stage earlier. And then you get Magic Gourd. And Magic Gourd, what it does is basically decreases your effective health by like to like a 33% of what it normally is, but also makes you do like 3 times the damage. So you glass cannon the entire next 40
That's
minutes.
fucked.
Yeah, it is
no.
fucking awesome. It is one of my favorite runs. Like, it is top 4 with like DMC5, DMC4, and Vanquish. I
DMC3
fucking
and
love this
DMC2
game.
and DMC1.
No, not
I thought
DMC2.
that's what he was gonna be.
Not DMC2.
We don't talk about DMC2.
I love those games, but I don't feel motivated to run those most time. I think DMC1 might actually round out the top 5, but I'm not sure. But like Otogi 2, man, the movement in that game is so fucking sick. The way you just like 2-shot bosses with the fucking magic gourd. There's a point too where we take like the least mobile character because he ignores physical resistance on 2 of these bosses, and we one-shot them with the gourd. But it's hard. Like the first kill is pretty much canned. It's all just being in a certain spot at a certain time. And then you got to go to the center of the stage and roll the fucking dice and hope that the boss comes at you in a way that you like so that you can swing on him again and kill him early. So then you can do a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, no, it's fucked up. There's some really fucked up RNG in that game. It's a sick run. But if there was like 2 things I could change, I would, because then the run would be more consistent.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where I know that if I grinded it enough, I could do it live. It's just a matter of like actually having a fire under my feet at this point
Yeah.
to do it.
Right.
Having kind of like with me with Frogger a little bit, where I like
Yeah, exactly.
don't have that fire, but I'm still submitting it anyway to try to
Yeah.
push myself toward it.
Exactly. Yep. So that is like that's sort of like the last ditch. It's like either that or Gungrave Gore, because Gungrave Gore normally is like a 2-hour run, but I actually introduced a category to the boards that is like 40 minutes. And it's just playing all the stages that actually end in a boss battle, because there's a bunch of them that, like over half the game, the stages do not end in a boss battle. So in a new game plus category, I said, hey, let's just do boss stages only. And then the run went from like 2 hours to 45 minutes.
Interesting.
So I don't know if either of those games would really have it in, but historically my last 2 runs that I've done in person were when I went fuck it and then threw in a 5th submission, and then that's what got in. Because
So that's why you gotta submit
DMC4
Otogi. Then you gotta do Otogi
Yeah.
too, dude. Like
exactly. DMC4, I literally looked at it and went, yeah, sure, I'll run DMC4 if they want to take it. And there it was. And they were like, and I was like, why did you guys, I'm not mad, but like,
What was the idea?
What made you want to submit it, or what made you want to pick it? And Brian and Broseph were like, "Cause it's cool." And I went, "Okay, fair enough."
And then, I guess,
yeah,
man.
I mean, it's really fucking cool. I agree. And then Van Helsing, I asked Amerland, and he was like, "Dude, we just thought it was funny." So like that was it. So historically, I have a 2-for-2 batting average on going fuck it and then throwing in
we
fifth
have
submission.
3 for 3
So
on this podcast because I also said fuck it and got accepted.
Yeah.
there you go. Hey,
That's
the
what
come up
happened when
for
Rapids go
ETNA.
home as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean that's just kind of like I said, it's a little bit long-winded because I have those 4 that I'm kind of like pretty much locked into, and then the 5th one that is just going to be like a spaghetti at the wall type thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of
That's kind of
spaghetti, Jaxler one.
Speaking
What
of
are your
spaghetti,
submissions?
Jaxler, go for it.
Do you think I'm Italian or something? Like what?
No, that's Cosmic.
I'm Italian.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
Italian. Okay, right.
and,
I'm
and
Italian.
Cole's racist against Italians.
It's true. Yeah.
I love Italians.
Go ahead,
Never said
Jaxler.
I
You
like
don't
them.
even know the famous catchphrase, bro.
Bobbity
Babada
boopy.
boopy. Anyway,
No,
Jax,
it's not Babada
What did
boopy.
you do for GDQ?
We've been over this. Mario isn't Italian, dude.
Yeah, he's black. Go ahead, Jax.
True.
Don't keep saying go ahead like I'm not fucking stonewalked by every other thing you'll say. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'll start kind of where we already talked about a little bit. So obviously I submitted Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1. Specifically the OG version of the game. Cole, I think you asked me earlier why like not the remaster.
It was me,
or
Smile,
was-
but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it was you? I'm sorry. My
Yeah.
bad.
I'll take credit for good questions.
No, you don't have to. So
You already ask enough good questions. Let's be real.
Yeah, this is like my first one. You got to give it to me.
Yeah, I gotta give him
Fair
something.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
fair
He's
enough.
hanging in for dear life. But so the reason I'm doing the original version and not like the remastered version of the run is even though you can like skip cutscenes in the remaster doesn't have the flight glitch. And if you've never seen the Soul Reaver 1 flight glitch before, you basically activate a animation speed up glitch and then do basically Mango Typer's inputs to take your glide down animation and reverse it upwards. And you fly very fast in this state. Because, like, all of your animations are fast. Like, your falling animation, your jumping animation, everything. And that's not in the remaster at all. And that is, like, one of the most entertaining glitches I've ever gotten to play with in a video game. So I'm like, people need to see this. And it's like...
In layman's terms, would you say you put that thing down, flip it, and reverse it?
Right.
Continue.
So, going along... So, first of all, I
Fuck
submitted
y'all.
all bosses.
That shit was fire. Fuck you
And I
all.
also... I couldn't even acknowledge what's happening.
It's best to just ignore him. That's what we do sometimes.
Just ignore
enough.
Grandpa and keep going.
Yeah.
Just
Ouch.
Old man shakes fistic. Old Italian man shakes fistic clap. All right, so
Mamma Mia.
for Soul Reaver 1, I submitted all bosses like we talked about earlier. I think it's an hour 10, so I think it's just the tightest like get the whole experience of the game that they'd be likely to take. I also don't play or would submit any percent to something like this because that is like a very marathon unsafe category that also doesn't use the flight glitch. And what you would do in order to make that run marathon safe is just basically turns into all bosses anyway. So, that being said, I also submitted 100%, which is more like a 2-hour long run, but it is ridiculously fucking hard and probably the most entertaining run to watch from that game, IMO. I might be slightly biased because like that's one I kind of had a hand in some new reroutes for, but that category is fucked up. Like it is fucked up. I will just put it that way. So, and kind of like also why I'm aiming with that kind of goes a little bit into another game that I submitted, which is Soul Reaver 2 Remastered. So I kind of slightly lied. So I picked up Soul Reaver 2 Remastered.
You just did lie. I asked if you were gonna play the remaster, and you said no.
Well, I thought you meant for Soul Reaver 1.
No, I just meant for the franchise in general.
Well, I played through that. Well, okay. So,
Anyway, so this guy
I got
lied
the
for attention.
opportunity-
Continue.
Ouch.
anyway, so I got the opportunity to do 100% on Passion Project, which is one of the GDQ Hotfix shows. And Amber, the host for that show, basically asked me, hey, it's a 2-hour thing, but we usually run for 3 hours. So if you have any other maybe runs you want to squeeze in, feel free. And I was like, oh, I could do like Soul Reaver 2 Remastered, since that's like a 25 minute run at worst. Mind you, I had not learned the run yet. I was still in the process of learning how to get the controls set up.
Holy shit.
Classic.
So I said, yeah. And so I'm kind of submitting. So the remastered run is like a 13.5 minute run, because you can skip the cutscenes and the game is really, really broken. That's also why I didn't submit or start running the Soul Reaver 1 Remastered. It's also a similarly short run on Soul Reaver 1. And I just don't think it's as entertaining. So that's just my opinion on that. But I digress. The whole reason I'm submitting Soul Reaver 2 is because I think it would be a really good bonus game incentive to go with one of my Soul Reaver 1 submissions, because it's like a tight 15 to 20 minute run. And one thing that a lot of especially for charity marathons like GDQ, they look for incentive potential, because their goal is to raise money for charity. And if you can provide them ins for like incentives or ways that they can build hype or generate more of that charity revenue, then that really helps you out. So that's kind of why I threw that in there, because I thought it amplified my all bosses and 100% submission. I think it also I might be like turbo coping, but I think it would be like really cool to like on like finale day or something like that, like you have Soul Reaver 1 hundo into the bonus game. It's never going to happen.
You're not going to get that.
I know, but it would be really fucking sweet.
I don't know, man. They gave Lost Judgment DLC finale day. So, like, and that run was gassed by Fru.
Yeah.
Hey,
but he was also shocked that they gave him. He was even shocked that they gave him finale day.
All right.
So
that pretty much wraps up the whole Soul Reaver situation.
And he's not going to be playing Smite as well. Just to be clear, as it's Soul Reaver the game, not Soul Reaver the item. Smite. Just wanted to clarify that for the two people that were confused. Anyway, go ahead.
I was not confused.
Two people.
I'm both of them.
You're two people?
Yep. People have been saying it.
Guy?
There's 85 jokes that popped in my head. I will not say any of them. Continue.
All right, let's move on.
I was going to say. Anyway.
Oh no. Anyway, so also submitted Frog Monster. Again, I think that's my second best submission, especially because it's been undergoing a lot of reroutes lately that have made the unrestricted category, weirdly enough, a lot more interesting than it used to be. So there were two major sequence breaks that got found that really kind of made things suck for a while. So we split the leaderboards in half over that. And then there was some like weapon rerouting that happened for that game, as well as a couple new skips. Like there's a boss that you need to defeat to unlock the ability to upgrade weapons in Frog Monster. But if you go to 30 FPS and just point your gun at the exit door, you can just shoot the door open from the other side. And it just lets you get the upgrades immediately. It's really fucking funny. And it's interesting too, because like the weapon builds have gotten a bit more light, and as a result, things have gotten a bit harder in the end game as well. So it's like it's like that kind of fast paced thing, but it's also like the diversity, but for lack of a better term, the diversity higher. Because it's an FPS game at its core. So I submitted both like the two main any percent categories, because I still think restricted is the more fun watch. Just because you have more bosses that are more challenging, you have more funny strats, etc., etc. So those are kind of my two big build-arounds, I'd say. Those the other one that's really solid, I like set in stone, is Vex. I'm gonna keep submitting Vex until it gets in. I don't know if any percent will ever get in, because it's an hour 40 estimate. But I've also been submitting Troll Tag, which, if you haven't heard of that category, it is a race to kick a troll in the balls.
Back to ball
the
percent.
middle level.
It's actually called balls percent, but
it used to be called balls percent.
They
but I asked that
it in order to.
We gentrified it so we could submit it to marathons.
Yeah.
But I want Vex to get in. I think I don't expect it to get in, but assuming it doesn't, I'm gonna start looking into the Xbox version, because apparently it's 360 compatible. So I kind of want to see how the loading times look.
Yeah,
cheating. Because
cheater.
Well, no. So here's the.
He's lying. He's cheating. The next thing you know, he's going to be stealing it.
Here's the thing, though. Vex does use load remove time, so it doesn't really matter.
I know. It was,
you're just giving me shit.
I guess
right?
they don't know that, but yeah, I was being a shitter. Yeah.
Thanks, appreciated.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The big reason, like, if I can get the loading times down, that cuts the estimate by a good bit.
Yeah, because the load times are fucking criminal in that game. Well, they're not criminal,
bad.
but they're like not good.
Yeah.
True.
My buddy Crow, he like got it like downloaded to the hard drive of an OG Xbox he had, and it was on the first load alone, it was a different speed. So the first load on GameCube is like 8 seconds long, or something like that. It was like a 3.4.
Dude, that's some fright shit, bro.
So I might have to hop on that, just for the sake of marathon type stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I'm gonna miss my GameCube controller, and then the last one I kind of just threw in there last minute was Neopets. I submitted 80% and all bosses for that. Reason being is that another Neopets runner named Deesh is also submitting both of those categories as well as some of the other ones. And this feels really weird to say, but especially with some of the like more obscure games, I feel like if I end up submitting something, then it gives more credence and value to someone else in one of those communities that's also submitting the same game. Like it's happened. I think it's happened a bit with like the SpongeBob movie game. He plays on emulator. I play on console. But he's done runs on console before.
That'll do it.
But we're about equivalent.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I asked is that like if they were to take the game, they would take the one with the lowest time. So if you're submitting, it's kind of like not doing what you want it to do. That's all I was saying.
Fair enough.
Observation. I've been playing too much KOTOR. Anyway.
Yeah.
Observation.
But at the same time, I was just like, throw it in. And then for the Neopets run as well, I also submitted that glitch exhibition again because when we got, it was SGDQ 23 is how long ago the Neopets run was, which kind of fucks me up. But we were supposed to have a glitch exhibition. Oh, was that 2 years ago? Fuck me.
That was 2 years ago.
So,
yeah, it's kind of weird. That's why I said already when you said you're submitting Neopets. I said, huh?
Yeah, but so we're also submitting. I'm also submitting a glitch exhibition, mostly because I was supposed to do a glitch exhibition incentive for. Yeah, and then because of Mario, well, I think it had gotten cut a lot earlier than that for time, and that information just wasn't relayed to us. But yeah, hello Mario.
Hello Mario.
Yeah. So part of me just wants to see that happen.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the glitch exhibition is like cooler than the game itself. No offense, but like, it's kind of fire. Can you just submit the glitch exhibition by itself? Can we just get a 10-minute play? Can we just get a 15-minute glitch exhibition of Neopets and then you just get off the stage?
The Castbot stuff exists.
I could just submit that as a glitch exhibition.
I think it would be kind of cool because you've cut like some of them in order to get to like that specific time of like 12 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So like you could add more shit in and like make it like a 15. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying.
I have like 20 to 25 worth of stuff for it.
Yeah, I believe it. That game is fucking broke. Not to be confused with the composer.
So honestly, you're right. I might actually end up. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I do that where I cut my full game submissions out and just throw in the glitch exhibition as like a hey, here's an incentive for someone else's run.
Could be fire, or it could just be your run. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching you do the glitch exhibition. That shit was fun as hell to watch.
That shit was fucked up. Yeah. If you like, well, I won't spoil it, but if you like arbitrary code execution, then you would really like the glitch exhibition.
It's fucked up. It's fucked
there
up.
You go.
It's fucked up. It's not good.
This is not good. This is bad.
This is bad. But yeah, that's kind of all I have on the GDQ front. So. Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay. And that's going to be it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people, and Everyone else, I don't know.
Fourth group, yeah.
Yeah, the fourth
And the
one.
people that don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The fourth one
And
is
the people,
crazy.
yeah, and the fourth one of the people that don't give a fuck. That's true. People have been saying it. Does anyone have anything to shout out before we go?
Let me think here. I mean, I guess I could wait. I'll mention this 2 episodes in a row. April 6th, the DMC speedrun community is having a 4-way relay race.
They're having a 4-way
the first,
live on stream.
yeah. Oh shit. Of the first 3 DMC games. Let me check the actual time again. I want to just make sure that I have it right.
It's at 4:30 a.m.
Right.
Eastern.
So. No, it's at 11 a.m. Eastern. So
I was close. I got
it'll
the
be Devil
AM
May
right.
True, you did. It'll be DMC 1, DMC 2, and DMC 3. Teams of 3 people, 4 of them. So it's gonna be a good time. It's been a little while. It's been a couple of years since we had a relay race. And before it was all the games, but we had 2 teams. So this is just the first 3 that were on the PS2. But we'll have teams of 4, and so it was pretty cool. This comes after the Demon pre-event that happened, which was like an individual level competition for like 10 weeks, where people ran various missions from each of the games to compete for those. So we're kind of just trying to keep the train rolling on community events. So should be a good time.
I guess I'll also mention as well that I think the weekend after that is Midwest Speedfest, which I'm kind of I was on games committee for that actually, and I'm doing some more behind the scenes stuff with that. But I'm also running Mushroom Men at that event for some reason. I don't know why.
I forgot you play that game.
Yeah,
that game's cool. I mean, it's a cool
Yeah.
That game is
but
pretty dope.
you know what's fucked up? They took Mushroom Men over Soul Reaver.
Get
Like
fucked.
overwhelmingly. Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that, but you know. So yeah, look forward to that. I'll probably talk about that a bit more as we get closer to those dates. So.
Coley_02, do you have
Sweet.
anything?
I'll just continue to promote my stream Speedrun Sundays, which happen at 4:30 Eastern time.
Oh, damn, he has a time now. That's
Frights.
crazy. He said hard
Yeah,
commit 4:30.
It's always been that.
No, before you were like,
Bro's a,
sometime
bro's
in the
a
afternoon.
Scoob salaryman now.
Yeah.
Oh.
You literally would always say
Salary.
sometime in the afternoon on Sunday. This is the first time
I-
you dropped a time. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I-
Yeah, usually
I
do
listen to you
4:30,
sometimes.
But wow, I don't.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, like I don't listen to me. That's what I meant. But it's on Twitch and on YouTube. So otherwise, I'm doing fuck all. So
I'm having a mental health crisis about what major I am going to switch to. Goodbye, everyone.